in recent years, as we have been actively engaging in war, things the government used to do is now being done by private companies.
Well, I saw contractors in Iraq doing anywhere from helping fix tanks, helicopter mechanics, pretty much any job that's in the military, there's a civilian contractor right there.
There are over 100,000 private contractors working in Iraq, Kuwait, and the surrounding area.
This war has been privatized to a greater extent than any other war in history.
40 cents out of every dollar Congress controls now goes to contractors.
The second largest armed force in Iraq are private security. They outscale the Brits or any other nation.
Blackwater is one of the largest and most conspicuous security firms in Iraq, with about 300 employees there. Blackwater is staffed largely by retired U.S. military, including former members of the Special Forces.
Scotty was told that he would be doing security for Paul Bremer, the ambassador, that he would just go everywhere Paul Bremer went, and there would be usually like 3 8-hour shifts. And that was fine with Scotty, because he didn't go over there to hurt anyone. He was there to protect people.
Oh, what's this falling down?
As far as Scotty going to Iraq, he chose Blackwater because they had a 2-month contract. And Scotty wasn't going to have to be away from his kids very long. He needed to make some money.
My son called me and he told me that he was going to Kuwait with Paul Bremer, the ambassador in Iraq.
Breaking news story tonight. The 4 American civilians were ambushed and killed in Fallujah, and they're believed to be from a local company called Blackwater Security Counseling.
When I found out what Blackwater did, that's when I started really feeling real. I don't know how to say it.
The vehicles should have been armored, and they also should have had saws, which are heavy belt-fed machine guns, in each vehicle, which they didn't have.
He's not walking there because people that he trusted and worked for did not care about him. It was the mighty dollar. That's all that they cared about.
They knowingly skimped on the mission. They cut corners left and right. What happened to them while they were with this company, not the American military, this company, had responsibilities that they didn't live up to. And our family members died because of that.
The most dangerous city on earth. No rear gunner, no armored vehicles, not even a map. That's, to me, negligent homicide.
This is a situation that was on the front page of the news, that was leading various network broadcasts for several days, and how that company manages that challenge will really dictate the future of that company. The first focus has to be for any company that finds itself in the type of crisis that Blackwater found itself in is, what do we need to do to preserve the financial business future of this company? This is a company whose success, economic success, is completely contingent upon funding from the US government. Within the first 24 hours, Blackwater hired a DC lobbying firm called Alexander Strategies Group. Blackwater itself, in particular its CEO and founder, Erik Prince, has long-standing ties to the conservative movement, particularly on the Christian Coalition side, had been very generous with his campaign contributions over the years.
He and his family contributed over $2 million to Republican candidates and the Republican Party.
Fallujah happens the last day of March. Within 24 or 48 hours after that, they're literally on the Hill meeting with some of the most powerful members of Congress who really were going to dictate what was going to happen to this company in terms of its funding. They went to John Warner, who is the chair of the Armed Services Committee on the Senate side. They went to Duncan Hunter, who is a congressman from San Diego, who is the chair of the Armed Services Committee on the House side.
They met with Rick Santorum, who is chair of the Republican Senate Conference Committee, which is a very, very powerful post.
They've also suffered terribly, injuries and loss of life, the most horrific of which occurred on April 13th of this year, Madam President, when the bodies of 4 contractors were burned, mutilated, and hung from a bridge in Iraq. Should we step up and try and do something about that problem?
We will have to have very vigorous opposition to this amendment as it is presently drawn.
The Blackwater strategy worked very, very well. They went to Washington, they stopped any investigations from taking place, and at the end of the day, as a result of their action, they were able to protect their business. They went out and they retained former high-ranking government officials. Cofer Black, who was a high-ranking official at the Central Intelligence Agency, Joseph Schmidt, who was the Inspector General at the Pentagon. And undoubtedly, when you go out and you retain high-ranking officials like that, they certainly are helpful in attracting new business, pursuing new business, and getting new contracts. Within a year after the Fallujah incident, they had received over $200 million in new government contracts.